Hello, and welcome back to the AP Lazer Workshop. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're a returning guest, a repeat offender, if you will, or we welcome you back. And if you're not yet part of the AP Lazer family and looking to join our family, we're hoping that you can learn a little something today that will help you further your decision in joining us. We have a lot of exciting stuff going on. Of course, we have our workshop going on today where we have special guest Joe Rabideau that's going to be joining us from our TinkrLAB, a local business here in Lansing in the education sector, but he has a lot of exciting stuff to share with us. But also coming up, if you guys haven't seen the information for it, please make sure you find out and get signed up for our LazerCon, which is going to be happening in Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio, towards the end of May. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's at Kalahari Resorts, and we're going to have a huge AP Lazer family party there. So whether you're part of the AP Lazer family already or you're looking for some more information, get some hands-on to meet some more members of the AP Lazer family, please join us in Sandusky, Ohio for that LazerCon event. If you've been to any of them before, you know they only get better and better. And last time we were just talking about this, we kind of caught lightning in a bottle in Las Vegas when we did it.
It was pretty great.
This one's still going to be better. I mean, sure, we're not going to have the slot machines and pretty lights of Vegas, but we're still going to have the pretty lights of the AP Lazer, and we're going to have a really good time.
And a water park.
And a water park, yes. Water park. I mean, take your kids out of school a few days early, get them excused, bring them, let them play at the water park while you guys do business. And then write the whole thing off. I mean,
and then go to Cedar Point the next day.
Cedar Point. You like roller coasters?
I like roller coasters, so I'm excited.
Yes. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe and click that bell to make sure you get the notifications so you don't miss our AP Lazer workshops when we go live. We are doing them about once a month right now. We're doing the best we can to make sure we bring you special guests. And today we were fortunate to have our special guest in person, Joe Rabideau. He's from a business called TinkrLAB, and he's been part of the AP Lazer family. We're figuring since around probably 2015, somewhere in that era. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit how you kind of got into joining the AP Lazer family?
Well, first off, TinkrLAB is a STEAM learning center, mm-hmm. and it all started with the dog bowl. I invented a dog bowl, and I'll put this over here so you can see it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but for some of our watchers out there, can you explain what a STEAM learning center is?
A STEAM learning center it's the same as STEM, but arts is added. It's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And we focus on all of that, and we teach kids mm-hmm. all about STEAM. And we have different projects and all kinds of things. And our store is really focused on that. But we started in 2014. Actually, it was the year before. I invented a dog bowl. And it was for dogs with long ears, bassets, because that's what we have, basset hounds. And it keeps their ears out of the food and water that's in the bowl and keeps them from getting infections.
My basset hound loves them.
Yeah. So I pitched that in a contest. I won the contest and had some funding available to go ahead and create the bowl. And so we created the bowl. And we took about 6 months of traveling around the U.S. to all these different shows to pitch it. Well, during that time, we ended up making friends with a lot of inventors out there that created dog products, but mm-hmm. the only avenue they had to sell them were these shows. And so it was sort of the end of all of the show season. So my daughter said, well, let's have a kiosk in a mall, in our local mall, Meridian Mall. Mm-hmm. So she was able to not only get a kiosk, but she negotiated a store. And so with that store space, we added not only our bowl, but all of these dog products that from people that we had met along the way, and we started selling them there. Now, we used to have an indoor BMX skate park, and so we had a lot of kids stuff, like that. Mm-hmm. And so we added that in there, and it became kids and dogs. And we really focused on just pet stuff and some of the kids' things. But there was a switch when she decided that she wanted to focus more on the kids side of things, because that was the area that could grow. Teaching about inventing, having a space where they can come in and do that. And so we got a larger store. But when we got that larger store, we had all kinds of products, steam-related products, and when we started looking at the line, we decided, well, why don't we start making some of our own?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where AP Lazer came in. And it was, it was an incredible experience dealing with you guys. I first met with Tong, and we were able to have an AP Lazer right in the store. And the idea was that it was in the front of the building, so people, when they were walking through the mall and they were looking, they could see us do the work. And that brought in a lot of interest. At that time, we were doing a lot of glasses and mugs and pet memorials and, the full range
Right.
of all of that.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's
go
super
ahead.
interesting because, I'm local to Lansing, so going through the mall, there's not any other shops that do that type of thing. You might have like
No.
the airbrush shirts or different things like that, but nobody had, set up for even just like getting your stuff personalized,
But
which is super
yes,
interesting.
and we had it was a unique setup, and it stopped a lot of people, and they came in, and we had a lot of orders that way. Well, we also started teaching educational classes, some classes in 3D printing, because we sold 3D printers. You could build a 3D printer there, and we had 3D printer classes and also laser classes, and we had a lot of students that would come in, and they would learn how to design things, and then we would cut them on the laser. A lot of engraving and that kind of thing. So it was a real nice experience. And what was really nice about having AP Lazer part of this, you guys were our partners the whole time. Anytime we had any issues, a phone call, or being that we were even close, we had a visit to help us get through it. And it's the service side of it that really matters.
And our service is second to none in the business. We do have world-class 365-day, 24/7
Yes.
tech support, North American-based tech support. But I do have to, full disclosure here, you're to come over and help.
Yes.
Because I just wanted a reason to visit the shop. Because, you go into a
We had our
world where
dogs
there's
there.
a laser. That,
does help.
The laser never gets old, but he also had the 3D printers.
Mm-hmm.
He had the classroom environment. He had all the neat little gadgets and stuff they make with the 3D printers and the laser. But they also had the Basset Hounds. And I've always wanted a Basset Hound. And I do have one now. My Homer is a lemon Basset Hound. And part of my motivation was seeing Joe's Basset Hounds and getting to go over there. But it's just an environment that they used to create for the kids to come and learn in a classroom environment. It was, I would argue that you guys have a pretty good hand in this area, anyways, of creating our future builders and the people that, not just the people who are dreaming to make things, but people who are going to be creating and coding things in our future and the way we're going. But the environment was so good, and I know you guys have moved to a bigger store since then. But so I'm sorry, I just had to go off on a tangent there. I looked for a reason to go to a store sometimes, but
It is super nice to see, there's not a lot going on, they're starting to teach, STEAM type things in schools, but it's still not super widespread of a thing. But it's, getting to learn that stuff early is, going to shape kind of what you grow up to be.
Well, with kids, they don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
And their minds are incredibly, they're crazy at times. Some of this, we have a thing that's called a little session that's a toy hack. It's like from Toy Story, Sid, where he would take all these different pieces and make a new toy. Well, we have birthday parties around that, and we have regular classes around that. And some of the things that the kids come up with are just unbelievable. And so they have this mind that just, they don't know the limits, and they will continually try different things. And so when you're working with a clientele like that, you want to give them all of the opportunities you can to experiment safely.
Yes.
Okay, safely. We taught kids about laser, about 3D printing, and the interesting thing is that when they learn those kinds of technologies, all they do is they go back and forth and up and down. That's all they do. It's simplistic. I mean, but the coding to make them go back and forth and up and down is the same from a CNC router to a laser. I mean, there's specific applications, but once they understand that you have X, Y, and Z to deal with, then they can go from one type of equipment to another type of equipment and the other one. And so it's just really exciting to see their minds click like that. We also do a thing called Take Apart. And Take Apart Tuesdays, we used to do that every week, but now we just do it once a month. But we've taken apart dialysis machines, sofas, toilets, little teddy bears. We just recently finished up a pipe organ. And so the kids get to take it all apart and see how it's made.
The nuts and bolts.
The nuts and bolts, and they get in there, and it's something to encourage parents and kids together. And what was really interesting with the dialysis machine, kids saw motors in there and fans and all that. And they took apart a little stuffed animal that the tail wagged back and forth. But they noticed that there was a little motor inside that stuffed animal that made the tail go back and forth. Well, there's a motor there, and then there's a motor in a dialysis machine, and then there's fans in there, and there's fans in the computer. And so they started putting all of this together. It says, oh, well, motors can be used for this, 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 and this. Fans can be used for this, this, and this. And so they just go on with their imagination. And that's what TinkrLAB is about, is to encourage that kind of experience. It's more experiential than just going into any kind of a store and picking up a kit.
Right. You can actually learn how to do that kind of thing yourself.
Yes,
which
and we
is
have
so
spots.
Special.
We have spots right in the store where you can build things. I mean, it's just a lot of fun.
So I want to get into some of the fun stuff. This is all fun stuff, but I want to get into some of the other fun stuff. You were telling us, and you've told me many times. Can you tell us again about your educational background and what you specialized in?
My background's in architectural design. I graduated from MSU, 100 years ago, and I was in the construction field. I designed interiors. I designed stores and sets and that kind of stuff. I did a lot with Riverwalk Theater way back, and so creating TinkrLAB as sort of like a theatrical place was just the norm. And if you go in there, it's very bright, it's very colorful, lots of colors, lots of things to grab the attention of kids.
Speaking of architectural design, let's take a look at some of this stuff. I know this is just a small sample of some of the creations you've done. So.
Yeah, with what I did is I just brought some of the things that we kind of do, what we use our laser for. I mean, the interesting thing is that Melissa decided to get into subscription kits where you can order these kits and every month you'll get something. And so we did a dinosaur, it's called Tinkersaurus. We have our bridges, which is called Tinker Bridge. And with the bridges, I have a total of I have 8 designs right now. I brought 3 or 4 of them here, but all of these are from, like this one here. This, can you see that?
Yeah.
This is out in Ada, Michigan. This is the covered bridge, and you can actually drive through this one. Not this one, but the one out there.
I think that is the most commonly used bridge. Well, the Mackinac might be for senior pictures in Michigan.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
I think it's second to Mackinac, but yeah.
Yeah, and all of these, all I've done is I've taken a photograph and just scaled it and made, they're not exact replicas, but they're a lot of fun to build. And with these, we have instructions, online video instructions on how to build them, so that you can buy the kit and it comes out. This one here is the Rialto Bridge in Italy. And what was neat about this one is designing the curved,
The
roof.
living hinge, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And again, that was from one of the files that I got from you guys, and figured it out and used it to make a roof. This one here is,
Oh, so close.
this one here is the Gateway Bridge, and that's on I-94 when you leave the airport going to downtown. And this was designed for the Super Bowl when we had it here, and the whole idea is that it looks like footballs to represent that. And then our traditional one,
Mighty Mac.
Oh, the boat even.
this is the Mighty Mac. This one started with a small one. We had a school that needed a project for a summer camp, and so I made a smaller one that was about a third of the size of this, and that was so popular I just made it so it was much larger and a little bit more complex. But this one here we sell a lot of, and the kids just love putting it together. The most frustrating thing for them is tying the knots, because there's a lot of knots.
That would be mine as well.
Yeah. It is
Fat fingers and
so cool seeing things like this. You know, a lot of people think of lasers and they only think of what you can engrave with them. But to think you can take these flat pieces of wood or acrylic or, you know, whatever material and turn them into a 3D thing is just...
Yeah, that's... I'm kind of called the director of crazy. Let's come up with another design that's kind of crazy, and let's see what we can do.
I hope my wife is watching so she knows that I don't claim that title.
No, you don't know. You could, though. But what we've done is try to come up with different products and different projects that schools can use, kids can use. This is one that we did for Pat and Gill School, where they wanted a little grow kit. You can see that. Oh, there it is. And it's a little kit that has some pods in it and seeds, and you paint it and all that, and you can actually grow. And so we made hundreds of those for school, and it was part of their it was an Arbor Day project. And so we get a lot of requests for that kind of thing.
Right.
My daughter Melissa, who is my boss, she makes a lot of the contacts and says, you know, this is what some of the teachers want, and then we'll turn around and design it and make it, and it becomes a product that we end up using as well.
I mean, that's one of my favorite things working on these machines, you know, pretty much daily now, is there's so much stuff you play around, you don't think it's going to be able to happen, but then you make it, and it's, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you can make that you wouldn't even think would be possible.
Well, that's I think one of the key things about these kinds of podcasts and events, and even at the conventions where you're there, is you get to see different applications of what can be done. I know you purchase a machine for a specific project.
Right.
Okay. Like, we wanted to do a lot of mugs and all of that kind of thing, but then we found out that where we can have the most impact is doing all of these things. And you know, so you start off with one idea, and then you move along and you come up with another idea. This is like how TinkrLAB started. It all started with a dog bowl, and then, I mean, we sell them now, but that's not our main business.
Right.
And with an AP Lazer, this is, I think, your possibilities are limitless. You're only limited to some used to say you're only limited to your imagination, but I say you're limited to your imagination and your inability to Google. When you run out of ideas, if you Google ideas, there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
You can almost always find a need. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I know that I have a problem that everywhere I go, whether it's in an airport or a restaurant or a shopping store or whatever the case may be, if I see something that looks like it might be lasered, I have to go up and touch it to see if it's lasered or is that a sticker. And then I'm immediately judgy, like, oh, I would have lasered that better. But that's just something I have. But again, for those who have not joined the AP Lazer family yet, it's important to note that you're going to have something in mind. But once you start doing that, you're going to realize that there's so much more potential out there, especially with an AP Lazer that has the open cabinet system where you pull the bottom out and you can drive a VW bug under that if you want to do the hood. You can do a John Deere tractor. You can do a piano, in death care industry, you can do a casket and monuments, and then you can roll over and you can make a bridge. You can make, what is that speed wagon that's over there?
That speed wagon, this was something I went to Gilmore Car Museum for their truck day, and I happened to see a truck there. There it is. There, can you see it there? Yeah. I happened to see a truck there. I took a photograph of, and I said, that would be a really cool kit to make.
Yeah.
Where you put napkins and forks and spoons and stuff like that and put it on a little picnic table.
That's awesome.
Open house season's coming, folks. Open house season's coming.
Like that, and then make it so that things open up, the top opens up.
And then it,
top opens up, this opens up, and I mean, it's just a fun little thing that you don't need any glue for. It's all screwed together and clips.
Oh, and that builds off the, taking things apart and your curiosity, building off of that. You can see how everything works and then use that to make your own type of thing,
And so,
That's
I mean, this
amazing.
was just a fun little thing that I did. And then we have a wall that's called a creation station. And it has, we designed these little boxes that actually hang on the wall. And these are all cut with the AP Lazer. And we have like 250 of these that are up on the wall, and it has all different kinds of parts in it, so that you can just go up and pick parts out of it and create something, invent something. But
It's sweet.
And that's like a lot of our parts that we cut out, the trash that would come out of that. We put that in these, and the kids just grab those little circles and the little squares or whatever it is, and then they start gluing things together, and they just have a lot of fun. But it's
inspiring.
Yeah,
the future
and we have
with
what's called a splatter booth in the store, in which kids go in and they just splatter paint. It's okay. And this is one of the things that they end up doing. This is the Bassett, in which was just splattered over the weekend. They let me use it, but we have all different kinds of shapes, from like
Things for like the unicorn you were talking about earlier.
We have, like our brain.
Yep.
The brain and the brain. Again, this is our logo. Our Bassett logo.
Yeah.
So we just had a birthday party in which we made these little cutouts of unicorns. Does that work better?
There we go.
There. Have these little unicorns that were cut out, and it was called Unicorns and Rainbows.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to have a push my glasses up moment. Do you know that unicorn, everybody sees as a mythical creature, but it's actually a unicorn is actually a form of rhinoceros. There is a rhinoceros that has a single horn, and there is a rhinoceros that has two horns.
Huh. Yeah.
But the origin of unicorn is actually a breed of rhinoceros. Just a
so now I'm going to make one with a rhinoceros.
And bring that there.
And,
So when people say unicorns don't exist, I go, time out.
They do. They do.
Unicorns are real.
Yeah. Well, we had a birthday party of, I think there was like 19 little kids, and it was called Unicorns and rainbows, and each one had one of those, and they decorated them with jewels and painted them, and they had a lot of fun. So it's, I know a lot of focus is on doing like granite and memorials and other things, but I mean, just
there's a lot of things you wouldn't think you'd be able to do that.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, even like looking at your models, I do. There's a million different ways that you can go about making things like that.
Yes.
I have an artistic background. I'm not very good with like CAD design or very technical design, but I'm really good with like 3D modeling and stuff like that. And there are different programs out there. We actually have a tutorial video we're going to be releasing sometime next week. Where you can take that and there's a software that like slices it into pieces to make that.
Oh, that's helpful.
So it's, someone who doesn't have that kind of technical mindset like me could still make something like this, which is, really cool to think about.
I have a neighbor who wants to make a table, and they want a marquetry design in it. And so you can design the whole thing on your computer, and then you can laser cut the individual pieces so that you can take the veneers from different woods, put them together, and they're cut precise. And then when they're cut precise, they put in there. And it's absolutely no gaps, because you can select if you want to cut on the line or outside the line, and you just have to think it through.
Right.
And when you put it all together, you can create a really nice decoration piece that can be veneered on another table and then coated from there. And that's an easy way, because it used to be you'd have to cut it all out with an X-Acto knife.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, there are people out there that think using the laser is, cheating or taking away from different crafts, but it's absolutely, you still have to have that mindset to be able to go in there and make these things, and you have to know how to use it in a way that it is the same, as if you were going in there and hand cutting. It's just helping you.
And that's one thing that Aaron, you did to us, not for us, but did to us, is, well, why don't you try doing this or try doing that? Okay.
Well, I wanted to share, because we're talking about creativity and unlocking creativity and educational and kids. Okay, I kind of want to share this because it's kind of a brag, and I think that Joe would be proud of this. Is my son? I started not this most recent Christmas, the Christmas before, I bought him a 3D printer, and then since then I bought him a second one. And my son, those 3D printers run pretty much nonstop. Like, he's got it set with a camera, so he can set it in the morning, and then we can leave, and they'll run throughout the day, and then it'll go. All the extra mods I get for him, but those combined with the laser, he's actually turned into like a little entrepreneur.
Yes.
Like at school, his friends would be like, "Hey man, I wish I had this." Be like, hey, "I can make that for you." But then he makes $5 here, $10 there, and he's not only using his creativity to learn how to make this stuff, whether it be a 3D printer or his laser, but he's also learning how to kind of understand. He has to understand the cost of supply, like what I'm going to call landed cost is actually dad's cost. So he may be making $5 or $10 here or there. Dad's buying all the filament and all the material and all the blanks and everything, but and he's not getting paid back for it. But that's okay, because my son's understanding. The way I see it is
education.
It's an education, and it's kind of like it's funding his creativity, and it's no different than if I if I give him $20 to go out with his friends for something. It's no different than that. He's just making money, his own money, off of the stuff I buy him. But that's something that you can do. It's something that you can do, if you have a laser and you have kids, get them involved. Because you know what? They might be able to help you with your business, or they might just be able to learn something and have fun with it. So if you're looking at joining the AP Lazer family and you have kids, get them involved. But do it in a way that is interesting to them. You can't make them do it, because if you make them do it, tell your teenager to go do something. Even if it's a good idea, they don't want to do it because you told them to do it. But if you let them know they can do it, now they're interested, right? So, Joe...
one thing that we did to get somebody interested in learning more about lasers is he had a pair of tennis shoes, and we laser engraved his name into the tennis shoes, and he was just blown away. He says, I could do that. And all of a sudden he starts thinking, boy, if I could do it for me, I could start doing it for my friends and making that. And so, I mean, it got him interested into it, and he learned about it, and it was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Go
Oh,
ahead.
that's okay. I thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
We're going to, a lot of really great information, and we're going to go ahead and get into our question and answer segment of the show. If you have any questions, please ask them right here in the chat. If you're watching this, after it's live, if you're watching this later, you can send us an email at aplazerlive@aplazer.com, and we'll get your question answered to you. If there's anything you want to add to the conversation, you can send it to that email as well. If there's something you want to see, if you want to be a guest with us, please send us an email, reach out to us, and we'll see if we can get you worked into our schedule here. Some of the questions and answers I've seen, I'm going to kind of combine some of them. And I know you guys have heard me talk about it before, but I have to talk about it again because it happened. And I like to call myself the king of I told you so. Right? I tell people all the time.
He's not kidding.
I tell people all the time, don't do this. And this is why. And then people look at me like, what, this? And then they do it anyways. So we've talked a lot about antifreeze through the winter, which also a coolant thing. Okay, so AP Lazer, there are 2 approved coolants for our AP Lazer. That is distilled or reverse osmosis water, purified water, not purified but distilled water, and then the other one is AP Lazer antifreeze and coolant. I bring this up because one of our road warriors, as I call them, Calvin, was out on a customer's location doing a tech call, and that customer had used RV antifreeze in their laser, completely plugged up their coolant system. I'm talking, it was chewing gum viscosity where the evaporation happened, plugged the hose, plugged the radiator, got some in the laser tube. Now, Calvin, being the experienced technician that he is, was able to use some warm water and some other methods to kind of nurse it back to health, but there might be some permanent damage caused to the radiators and stuff, and potentially could have broken the laser tube. But if you're using RV antifreeze right now, stop your laser. Don't do anything else with the laser except for drain it, get it out of there, and get distilled water in there until you can get the AP Lazer antifreeze coolant, AP Lazer coolant and antifreeze ordered and into your system. Okay, that is available on our web store. It is always available. We make it here. It is a formula that I created and tested myself, and it's a simple formula, but we do all the work for you, get it bottled up and send it out to you. So order it at our AP Lazer web store, and you can order it. You can get it expedited. You can get it by the weekend, possibly, but probably Monday. But don't use the RF antifreeze. I cannot stress enough how it was once upon a time believed, and you're gonna look it up, and there's gonna be other laser companies out there that don't know any better that are still going to recommend to use RV antifreeze, but it is going to ruin your laser. It's going to damage your laser. I'm not going to say it might. I'm going to say it's going to. So when working into RV, into coolant and antifreeze, our AP Lazer antifreeze and coolant is made not just for cold, but for also hot. It's going to keep it cool when it's hot. It's going to keep it above freezing when it's cold.
Well, and if you live in Michigan like we do,
it's
going to happen often. It's going to flip-flop, and you're going to need something that's going to handle that weather change.
It's going to freeze in the morning, be hot in the afternoon. Right?
Yeah. I mean, think the last couple of days it's been freezing in the morning. I go home at the end of the day, and I got to take my coat off because all of a sudden it's too hot.
Chuck Fleming asks, I see a lot of laser units for sale on Marketplace. What is the viability for someone wanting to work as a hobby only, not looking at making it a full-time gig as I'm fully retired? Chuck, that is a great question. And we have, AP Lazer, we have a product for every level of engagement. We have a product for our hobbyists, our part-timers, our people who think they're retired, because that's how it starts, right? I'm retired. I just want to do it as a hobby. So just give me my 1812 and leave me alone, because I'm going to make little hobby stuff. And then like a year later, like, okay, I need the big machine because I'm making too much money off of this. So, I mean, yes, we have a product for everybody. Make sure you talk to our AP Lazer specialists, product specialists, our account specialists, salespeople, I mean, for lack of better terms. But our account executives will make sure that they match you with the right product that meets your needs. But we do have, from our hobbyist to our industrial users, okay? We have our lasers in the auto industry. I have gone to places where before I could get through the door, I had to sign non-disclosure agreements that I wasn't going to talk about anything I saw or the process that our laser was being used for. This is the most I can say about it. What were they doing? I can't tell you. I signed a paper. So, but we have it for every level, at all levels. Again, whether you're just a hobbyist who's trying to live the retired life, that doesn't have a lot of time but has all the time. I don't understand, but no, I'm joking. I say that because yes, you can.
Absolutely,
yes, absolutely,
because I'm retired, and what I found when I started researching originally to get a laser, there was other companies that you can get a laser that is really inexpensive, but it didn't have everything you needed.
Right.
And if my issue would be that if I found a laser that's on Marketplace, one, I don't know if it's operable.
don't know its history, right?
Because there's a lot of little things in there that could go wrong that you've just spent several $1,000s for on a deal, which is going to cost you a lot more to get it fixed because you're going to have to find the manufacturer, somebody that works on that. I have used the small laser, your smallest one. We actually took it out on some events that we did, and we were laser engraving things right there, and it was really quite a good deal. I mean, we made quite a bit of money with that, but a larger laser gives you a lot more opportunity.
It does,
and I cannot stress enough that it is the support end of it, especially if you don't have a lot of history with understanding electronics technology and lasers. You want that backup, and you guys have been there every single time, whether it's a phone call. In fact, the one time we couldn't get it to work, and we were out in Ohio someplace, and I called. I think I talked with you, or I talked with somebody else. It's walk me through this. Right there. Walk me through this because it wasn't working. And it just walked me through the whole thing and I got it running. Okay. I'm, several hundred miles away, but it doesn't matter because support was right there. It was like we're sitting here next to each other. And that's important.
Well, I want to add to that too, that our AP Lazer tech support 24/7, 365 days a year, all your holidays, everything, especially when you're the busiest, right? Is not just when your machine or your laser is breaking, okay? It's also, I've been trying to figure out how to do this on this file for 3 hours, and I'm at my wit's end. Call us after 5 minutes, be like, I don't know how to do this. Can you walk me through this? It's also support. It's support and service. It's not just, it's broken, I need some help. I need some help to get past this. And then our team's there to support you, to help you be successful as part of the family. Our online AP Lazer user group is for our AP Lazer family members, our owners
Super
and users.
helpful. I still go there. I'm
Right.
an employee here, and I
They
still
help
go
me.
there to get help.
They help me, okay? If they can help me, they can help you, and they will. Our family's very eager to help each other. We grow as a family. We thrive as a family. And again, if you have any more questions, please reach out to your account executive. They will meet you with the right person. If you're an existing owner, reach out for support. 844-364-8211. And I thank you again for joining us. We look forward to you. Make sure you click that thumbs up. We don't go for likes, but I mean, why not, right?
It helps.
And subscribe, and then make sure you sign up for our notifications to catch our next one. Thank you again to Joe Rabideau. As
Thank you. It's
always,
been a
I
pleasure.
learn something every time I hang out with you, and I'm always amazed by your work. I look forward to seeing you all at LaserCon, and we'll see you on the next AP Lazer Workshop. Until then, see ya.